solving equations with rational coefficients. My other class thought right away this is going to be hard because of what it's called. That's not true at all. So I'm going to explain to you what some of these words mean. I think after a while you're going to think, oh, okay, it's not as hard as it sounds. So first of all, let's just talk about what some of these words mean in this section. So coefficients. What do you know about a coefficient? Do you know?
I have something to say.
Yeah, go for it.
If I have to write all that out, I just put SERC.
Oh, that's you. Yep.
Does coefficient still have the same term?
Okay, you're along the same line. Coefficient. Something we talked about when we talked about terms, like terms, coefficients, and constants. Nolan?
Isn't it like the number in a number with a variable?
You're right. So if I have 5x, 5 is my coefficient. Okay? That's what a coefficient is. It's the number with the variable. So if I have 7x, 7 is the coefficient. So it's ever with the variable. So we're talking about numbers with variables today. Right, then I have rational and irrational. These are two words that really hit hard in 8th grade. So but you kind of need to know what they are in 7th grade too. Let me start with irrational, because I think it'll make more sense of what a rational number is. A rational number is a number that literally goes on forever. So for example, let's say you did a division problem, and this is what your answer comes up to be. And it goes and goes and goes. What's that? Well, it depends what it asks. I mean, there's numbers that go forever. For example, pi. You guys know pi, 3.14, 159 goes on forever. That's an example of an irrational number. So an irrational number is something that keeps going on forever, has no rhyme or reason to it. Okay? So knowing that, what do you think a rational number would be? Like, what would be an example of a rational number? Yeah.
It stops.
It stops. It stops. It repeats. So examples of rational numbers would be like whole numbers. Okay. Decimals. Certain types of decimals though. Types that terminate, that means stop. Or repeat. Okay. And fractions. Really, the definition of a rational number is anything that can be turned into a fraction. Okay? Anything that can be turned into a fraction. Irrational numbers cannot be turned into fractions. So today, our coefficients are going to be fractions and decimals. So today, all of our problems are going to have things that look like this. What's the coefficient? Pi, or 0.7x. What's my coefficient? 0.7. So all of our numbers with our variables are going to be fractions or decimals. So it's not so scary. Anybody still need it? Okay. Okay, good to go? All right, so today you're going to see two types of problems. You're going to see decimal equations, you're going to see fraction equations. So what I suggest you do is you title decimal equations and you do your examples like I saw the other classes, so they're lined down the middle, and then did decimal on one side and fraction on the other. So you can see the two types that we're going to talk about. So then your notebook on today, when you're doing your homework, and say, okay, this is the decimal, and this is how we did it. So however you want to set up your notebook, but we're talking about decimal problems only right now. So let's jump back to yesterday. When you saw a problem that looked like this, how did you solve this? How did you solve it, Matthew?
You took 3 divided by 3.
Okay, but time out. How did I know I was dividing here? Like, what's the dedicated way of what I need to do? Do you know? Daily?
The 3 has an A by it.
Okay, and that means what?
Multiply.
Multiply, right? So then I got to divide to undo that multiplication. So divide by 3, A is going to be what? 4. Okay? Well, same thing today. We need to n by itself. If I'm doing this, I need n by itself. So what do you think I need to divide by here? Mason. 0.25. Don't forget the decimal. It's going to be big today. Divide by 0.25. Now you might actually have to do it out on the side. Top number always goes in the house. If I have a decimal, then what?
Move your decimal over.
If you have a decimal in here, you gotta move it 2 spaces to get it out. I gotta do the 2 spaces here. Okay. 25 isn't going to 16. 25 goes into 160 though. Should be 6.
Yeah.
That's 150. And this goes in 4 times. 64. So n equals 64.
Oh,
That's it.
okay.
It's exactly what we did yesterday.
It's so easy.
Well, it's easy because we did it yesterday. The only difference is you're using a decimal or fraction. Yeah, that's the only difference. We didn't do fractions, yeah, but we will. We will. But you know how to multiply fractions. We've talked about dividing fractions, so it shouldn't be too difficult. You try one yourself. You try one yourself. Remember, you're always working with the number that's with the variable first. They're all easy. I mean, there's nothing, there's not anything that's crazy today. You're all going to divide very nicely, so it's not like you're going to end up with a big weird number. It's either probably going to be a whole number, maybe a small decimal, but nothing other than that. Nothing other than that. All right, Haley, tell me, don't tell me the answer. Tell me what you did.
All right, so I did 0.8 underneath 0.8, and then I crossed that out.
Right, like this.
Yes.
Okay,
And then I put 0.8 underneath that,
okay,
and then I divided that, and moved the decimal over, and then I got 8.
that equals it. Oh, nice job. Nice job. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to give you one more, like that, to do by yourself, and then we'll move on to the fraction type. Landon? No. I didn't. Mm-hmm. There. All right, somebody I haven't heard from yesterday, Landon, tell me what you did. Don't tell me the answer.
I did, 2/10 on 2/10,
Okay?
crossed it out, added 10.6 by
10.6. About 10.2. Gotta move my decimal over. Should be 5.53. Okay? All right, here's the fraction type. Are you ready? So put it somewhere in your notebook. The fraction. Now there's more steps to this one. There's more steps to this one. Let's trust me.
Could you just convert it to a decimal?
You could, but I don't want to do that because that might take too long. Then you're gonna have to 3/4 to know but 12/20. You gotta make that a decimal, and then you still have to do your problem on top of that. It's just easier to keep it in the fractional.
Will I be easier than the last part of the
Yep. Yes.
Go in there.
I'm gonna show you first, probably. Okay.
No.
All right. So we have 3/4 x about or equals 12/20. I'm gonna do the same thing because this means multiply it, right? And then, so I'm gonna divide by 3/4. Great, cancel. I'm going to divide by 3/4 here. Now, if you remember a long time ago, we talked about complex fractions. Complex fractions had fractions in the top and the bottom of the fraction. Do you remember that? Okay, so this is what a complex fraction is. So this is how you need to continue with this problem. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna write this out in a horizontal line. So this would be 12 over 20 divided by 3/4. This is me just writing it out in a format that I can see. What's my next thing I need to do then? If I'm doing division, what do I need to do?
Oh, you need to put your 20 and 4. Like, don't you need to convert 3/4 into like something 20?
No, I don't need any like denominators. Multiply by. Owen, what do you think? I do. I can do keep, change, flip. Remember? So 12 20th times 4 over 3. There's a lot of reducing that can happen here. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 goes into, stop talking. 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into 20 5 times. Multiply across. Or it should be 4 fifths.
That's your answer.
That's your answer. Here's what I've been running into, and it happens every year. People can get this far. Then what happens is they don't know which one goes first when they write them. Which one has to go first when you write it from left to right?
The bigger
No.
one. No. The top one.
The top one has to go first when you write it from left to right. You can't just decide which one you want first. It has to be this one first, this one second. That's how it's listed. So that's how you have to continue to write. Let's do one more together. Okay? So I have negative 7/9 x equals 5. Negative 7/9 x equals 5. You want to try it? Try it. See what happens. Can I make this a fraction?
Yeah.
If I do it one.
I will.
Okay, so do that already if that helps. Now try it yourself. See if you can do it. Make sure everything's in the correct order. Make sure you're flipping the right thing. Make sure you keep your negative sign with the 7/9. Lost that one. These are just a little more work than the decimal ones there. And I don't remember the answer.
Can't you divide? And then just hit your one.
Yep, you're gonna get a mixed number then. Yep, you're right. Mixed number. It's not a whole number, it's a mixed number in the end. That's okay. Anybody do another? You can always reduce. Oh, what are you gonna tell me?
First divide 7/9 plus negative 7/9.
See you later, and I'm guessing you did it over here. Okay, then tell me how you lined it up on the bottom. What'd you do?
So 5 over 1, and then 9 over 7.
So then you flipped already. That's
Yeah.
fine. And you probably got negative 45 over 7.
Yep.
And then make into a mixed number.
6 3 7.
6 and 3 7. And negative 6 and 3 7. Good job. Good job.
Oh, it's a lot easier.
I had the 2 fractions wrong.
Yeah, somebody will do it.
I had 7
Yeah,
over
you
5, but I still got the same answer.
Yeah, so did
I
I.
got 7
Wait,
over
you had 7 over 45.
Yes.
How did you get the same answer? Because there's no
I had
possible.
7 over 45, but I did not do the same answer.
You can't. This and this are two different things, you guys. 7 over 45 and 45 over 7, two totally different things. So these two are not the same. My other class ran into this. You're like, oh, we got the same thing. I'm like, well, how? Well, I have 7 over 45. That's not the same thing. Please make sure your first one is that, and that's what happened to you, right? Like your top one has to come first. Let's do one more. Let's do one more of those. Try that one. And then after this, I'm gonna do one more example of a fraction. One more example of a fraction. This one and another. Okay, stop talking. the wrong one first. Keep the wrong one first. Which one should we first? You skip step. So like, here's here. Skip this part. Okay, this one has to go first. See? And you rewrite it, which one has to go first? The 9, or 9 has to go first. Eventually, it should look like this. Is that what you got?
Yeah.
Eventually, after you do your work, this is what you should get. The negative, oh, you can reduce. Goes in once, goes in 3 times, you should get negative 12. Go to 1 or 12. That's what you should get.
I didn't have that.
Oh, I just forgot.
I got
It's
36
negative 12,
over
okay,
3.
just negative.
Then divide. 36 divided by 3 is 12.
12 divided by 1 equals 12.
Then divide.
Shit.
Simplify it as far as you can. Yep.
Do you have to put negative 12 or do you think, I mean, negative 12 over 1?
Negative 12 is the same thing. Last thing I want to show you. It looks like this. Okay, notice it's flipped around this time. Okay, so what are you still going to divide by?
2/3.
2/3, so that's the x, right? So go ahead, see how you do this one. Because I'm going to show you a mistake that I have a lot of students make, especially when they're flipped around like this. Answer. I'll just make it up. Yeah, that's right.
What?
I'll talk about it later. Wait till I'm done recording and stuff. Just a sec. That's your answer, Matthew. Okay, let me show you what I have a lot of kids do. So this is how they start. They start great. They, oh, my bad. They do this. And then they do this. Tell me why that is incorrect.
Because you have to divide 3/4.
What has to come first?
The 3/4.
3/4 has to come first. So don't write it like this, because you're already screwing yourself up.
And you have to flip over the 2/3.
Right, right. So it should look like this. Oops. So it should look like this. What was it, 2?
How does that pop up?
I think when I took a certain
And
bunch.
Yeah.
it should come out as 9/8.
So this is 9/8, and it goes to 1 and 8.
Oh.
So careful with your order. If you get the order messed up, you're not gonna get the answer right. That's the hardest thing about fraction ones, and if that's the hardest thing, I can teach you guys to go. Questions now?
Will we have 2,